Hi everyone, Susie, Crypto Granny here. Hope you're well, looking after yourself, being kind to your family, your beautiful friends, family, kids, dogs, animals, and the rest of the world as well. Now, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to just look at live coin watch. I won't do the technicals because the market's not doing a great deal at the moment, but then I'll go into the news stories. So let's have a look at this today. Now, market cap at the moment is 3.757 bill and 3.757 trillion, I should say. And volume is a lofty 122 bill. And liquidity is really good at 11.938 bill, which means people are actually starting to buy, which is great. We're starting to see trending Binance and Avalanche. We're in both of those. We like them very much. And Polygon, we're in Polygon probably 3 or 4 years ago, but it hasn't performed very well of recent times. And what we're finding today is Binance, BCH and Binance are looking pretty good. They're holding their value very, very nicely. There's a lot of great news stories re Tron, a lot of great news stories re Solana, Binance, Link, Avalanche, Hashadera, and Crow as well, particularly. And you'll hear those news stories after this. So, and also we're finding that more people are buying Bitcoin. Particularly in Europe, okay, more European treasuries are starting to buy Bitcoin. Mr. Saylor came out and bought some more Bitcoin as well. And many other corporate treasuries are starting to buy crypto rather than invest in cash, okay? If you're lucky, you're only going to get 3% return or something like that, vis-a-vis the returns of crypto. So Bitcoin at the moment is 111,521, up 0.66% today. Ethereum is not doing a lot at 4364. XRP is doing time here at 2.8580. As mentioned, the news stories, they did do their 1 billion issuance into the market every month out of escrow, and 700 million went back. Okay, so that's going to be weighing down the price of XRP at this stage. But there are some great news stories re XRP as well. They've done, they've got a partnership with Thunes, which is a very big client for XRP, and it's a very good news story for those guys. Binance is holding its own here at 853. It looks pretty good technically, Binance as well. Solana looks excellent. It's up 4.44%. A lot of great news stories for Solana in terms of transaction speed and the upgrade of the network. And I've seen some price projections for Solana up to $280, $300. Okay. ADA, I don't know why it's here at 0.83. I think it's too high. Tron should be there, not ADA. Tron, again, more corporate treasuries are buying into Tron and investing in Tron. It's at 0.3397. I'm expecting a breakout on Tron, particularly, and Link at 2352. Great news stories, Link. One that's doing really well today is BCH. The last time I looked at that a day ago, it was at 550 something, and it's gone up quite a bit overnight. We are invested quite a bit in BCH. I believe this thing's going to really outperform the rest of the market, and we're starting to see it now. Being up 6.45% today. Avalanche, good story re-Avalanche today as well. A client using Avalanche, and as I said, Hashadera isn't doing too badly at 22 cents. Avalanche is starting to rally as well. It looks pretty good too on the charts as well. Pepe, again, is going to come back to 4 zeros and a 1. And again, any rally in Ethereum, we're going to see a rally in Pepe because it's the largest meme coin on Ethereum, okay? And we're looking at a sprinkling of other things. But what I'll do is launch into the news stories, some great news stories today, and they're all the cryptos that we pretty much invest in. So we keep a very close eye on those cryptos. So let's go to the news stories and see what we can glean from all those news stories. Let's go to some of the most important news stories today. Billionaire Ray Dalio explains why Bitcoin gains will go up with the US dollar collapses. And that makes sense to the overall thesis that the US FOMC, the Federal Open Markets Committee, will ease rates. And I believe they will ease rates come the 17th September. And those interest rates could be eased by 50 basis points. I believe that the US should be easing rates because economic data, the fundamentals are very weak in the US at the moment. So with that, Ray Dalio, who's a billionaire, very smart guy indeed, believes that the US dollar status as a reserve currency is collapsing. And we do see that with the BRIC nations moving away from US dollars, as well as some of the European nations, which are in euro, but also some of the Asian nations are also moving away from US dollar. We see that particularly with China, which wants to expand their renminbi, as well as Russia, which wants to deal only in their own, their own currency, like the Russian ruble, for example. So that makes a lot of sense to me. He's calling gold up, but he's also saying that, there are a rise in corporate treasuries in crypto, and we're seeing that everywhere globally, not only in Bitcoin, but we're seeing it in Tron, Solana, we're seeing it in Avalanche, we're seeing it in Binance and many other cryptocurrencies that we actually invest in. So I agree with Mr. Ray Dalio on this one, and I do believe that Bitcoin will gain vis-a-vis the US dollar collapsing, and that's a story that's been around for some time. But I think with easings of interest rates in the US, that will actually come to fruition. And I think that is just an absolute non-brainer. Now, we have seen Mr. Trump with a lot of tariffs out there in terms of other tariffs. Sometimes India, for example, is slapped a tariff on India for 50% of imported goods into the US. It's making it untenable. Literally, people can't now sell their goods to the US without being subjected to large tariffs, right? So we saw this one. Obviously, Ontario banned US alcohol sales in April, and today Canadian Crown Royal Bottler announced it's shutting down its Ontario plant in Canada and will move its operations to the US. And this is what Mr. Trump wants. He wants to make the US great again, and he wants it to be the cryptocurrency capital of the world, or country of the world. And I think he will do that because we're already seeing that a lot of exporters of goods to the US are being slammed with a lot of tariffs, okay? And it's just not feasible to operate outside of the US with all these tariffs going on. And this is a theme that we're going to see more of, where we see other countries close down their factory operations and move their factory operations to the US. It's a common theme that we do see. And as I said, the next FOMC meeting is the 17th September. This is going to be a big boom for crypto markets. I believe it will be. Crypto.com CEO of Cron basically is saying that, with interest rate cuts, you're going to see a big boom in crypto. And again, I believe this as well, right? It is a bold prediction, but, once they start cutting interest rates, they tend to go more than once, sometimes 3 to 4 times. And I believe the Fed funds rate at 4.5 to 4.75 is a targeted a range of Fed funds rate. Basically, they need to cut that by at least 100 basis points. And I think that's a similar theme you're going to see globally as well. We're actually seeing that globally with other central banks in the world cutting interest rates. Now, MicroStrategy acquires another 4,048 Bitcoin. It now has expanded its holdings of Bitcoin to 636,505. Even though MicroStrategy came out and told the equity holders and the debt holders they weren't going to be diluting any more stock, again, we're not seeing that, okay? That's for sure. They keep issuing stock and equity into the market to dilute that stock and to buy more Bitcoin. So if we see the holdings of people that are actually holding Bitcoin, more and more people are starting to go into Bitcoin. And we see the Winklevoss, they're setting up a treasury, and a Nakamoto-backed treasury, and they're launching that with 1,000 Bitcoin, which they got funding for, and essentially they're investing in Bitcoin. And we're starting to see more corporate treasuries do the same thing, not only, as I said before, Bitcoin, but Ethereum and many others. We've got European companies starting to allocate more money to Bitcoin. And according to BitcoinTreasuries.net data, European top corporates that have Bitcoin treasuries are the German firm Bitcoin Group, that bought 3,605 Bitcoin, 400 million. We see a French company, Sequence Communication, buy more Bitcoin as well, and a UK-based company called Smarter Web Company with 2,440 Bitcoin. And we are finding that more European Bitcoin treasuries are starting to buy Bitcoin. We've also seen it with Amidax, a Dutch cryptocurrency service provider, buying more Bitcoin. And not only that, we're seeing that within US corporate treasuries as well. Rather than holding cash, they're actually now buying Bitcoin. And, you know, this is always a risk, buying Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin keeps going down, then clearly they're going to be exposed, you know, on their cash proceeds, which they're investing in Bitcoin, right? But you can understand it because Bitcoin's been showing an incredible annual return. I think since its inception, Bitcoin's up at like 50,000% compared to a cash rate of 3.5% if you're lucky, right? So the top 10 holders for Bitcoin, obviously a MicroStrategy, he's just added another 4,000 odd to that figure there. Mara Holdings, XXI, Bitcoin Standard Treasury Company, and so forth. And we're starting to see more and more companies do this. And interesting enough, we've got the Trump Media and Technology Group Corporation that's invested 15,000 in Bitcoin. Mr. Trump and his sons, apparently now their overall wealth is mainly from cryptocurrency. And last count is they're worth about $5 billion because of the wealth of cryptocurrency and issuing their own coin into the market. So many people are saying, does Mr. Trump have a conflict of interest because he's now the president of the US and he's getting all the rules changed? Yes, he does have a conflict of interest, but again, he's the president of the US, right? So he can do what he pretty much likes, to be perfectly honest. And it's not surprising they're putting all their wealth into Bitcoin. I mean, the Trumps seem to be everywhere. Just recently, Eric Trump is now on the board of Polymarkets, which is a betting platform, sports betting and, you know, predictions outcome market. And they just seem to be everywhere. They're in meetings in Asia and everywhere else. So they're getting very big in cryptocurrency, and they're minting their own coins, okay? World Liberty Finance Exchange, they've issued their own coins for that as well. So they're actually, you know, actively issuing coins and investing in cryptocurrency. Now, there was an interesting article out from Goldman Sachs about stable coins and how the recently passed Genius Act should be very bullish for stable coins, okay? Stable coins have a market of about 300 bill. And, you know, this article suggests that stable coins could reach a market very quickly of 1 trillion. Now, the Genius Act was guiding and establishing national innovation of US stable coins. It was a piece of legislation introduced in June. It was signed off by Mr. Trump. And with that, there was other bills that went through: digital asset market clarity, known as the Clarity Act, and the anti-CBDC surveillance state. But all this is very, very good for the issuing of stable coins, okay? And if you don't know what stable coins are, they're a form of tokenized digital marketing money using blockchain technology and are designed to maintain a stable value, typically pegged against one-to-one with conventional fiat currency, right? And the most common is US dollar tether, clearly, right? Or USDC, for example. But in reality, they're not a stable coin. They're actually an index coin against the fiat currency. So if the fiat currency goes down, the stable coin will go down with it, but it will be one-to-one to the fiat currency, okay? They're expecting that this market, which is currently at 268 billion, will easily in the next, you know, from now for another 5-year view or something, get to 1 trillion, because all the legislation's in place to make it extremely bullish for stable coins. And what we see often is with the issuance of stable coins into the market, people use that stable coin technology, tokenized digital money, to buy cryptocurrency. So it's very, very bullish for cryptocurrency, not only stable coins. I thought this was an interesting article that Goldman Sachs actually wrote, right? And we see, you know, going way back here, Circle in 2018, which is like 7 years ago, launched their stable coin, USD coin. We see Facebook with Libra launching theirs, which was a disaster. We see USD Tether, which has now got the prime market. It's got 75 to 80% of the stablecoin market, launched theirs on Coinbase, right? In Europe, interesting enough, people aren't allowed to use US dollar Tether, but I think that'll change as well. And the projections for stable coins, clearly rather than up to 300 bill could be 1 trillion within a 5-year view. And I tend to agree with that Goldman Sachs article. It's a very good article, and I think it's a very interesting one. Now, having a look at Ethereum, some of the short liquidations, we see a lot of imbalance within Ethereum at the moment. Again, if Ethereum rises to 4925, an accumulation of short liquidations could exceed 6 billion, right? Because you're actually short. The market rallies, 6 billion could be wiped out because people are short. If Ethereum falls to below 400, long positions are worth 3.96 billion would be liquidated. Okay, so clearly, if Ethereum rises, you're going to get a lot of accumulated shorts, which is going to push the price of Ethereum up. Conversely, if Ethereum goes down, you're going to get more people selling Ethereum. Now, we have seen Ethereum, the foundation, selling their own coin to fund their network, and they seem to be coming to the market every 2 months to do that, which is not great because they're selling their own coin to fund their DAO. Okay, XRP. If we look at XRP, we also see a severe imbalance. Short liquidations far outweigh long liquidations, right? Many short-term traders appear to be betting heavily on XRP's decline in the first week of September. Now, that doesn't surprise because XRP, as you know, takes out, basically issues $1 billion into the market from escrow the first week of every month. And what they don't sell, they put back to escrow, right? And that escrow timeline, I think off memory, is 2046 or something. They still have 41 billion in escrow, right? So what they don't sell, $1 billion that comes to the market every month, they put back to escrow, and then that gets added to the timeline. So it basically said that there's a lot of short positions, 500 million in short positions vis-a-vis long positions. And, clearly if XRP rallies, those short positions are going to be triggered. So we need to keep an eye on that as well. These are some of the things I look at. Pyth, another one, has got a very big imbalance between short positions and long positions, right? So traders have gone long on Pyth, and some have gone short on Pyth, and apparently the ones that have gone short, they risk nearly $9 million in losses if Pyth drops to 15 cents. So we just have to see how those scenarios play out. But this is the information that we're seeing at the moment. I actually look at this stuff as well. Now, Ripple and Thunes have expanded global finance partnership to power fast cross-border payments. Now, Thunes is a very, very big operation. It is global, and this is a great story for Ripple, okay? Ripple is extending its role in global finance through a renewed collaboration with Thunes, a Singapore-based payments infrastructure provider, right? This was announced yesterday. It's expanding its partnership. They're going to be using Ripple's technology to improve payment payout efficiency, widening currency availability, simplifying money movements across border. The company first established their relationship in 2020, and now they're expanding using their digital financial services worldwide, using the distributed ledger technology of Ripple, right? The integration of Ripple's blockchain-powered payments platform with Thunes' direct global network is designed to make cross-border transfers more efficient. And it means that Thunes is integrating and using their own proprietary system to integrate with Ripple's network. And that's a great story for Ripple, okay? This partnership will enhance the reach and efficiency of this network, providing business and end users with a fast, secure, and accessible financial services. And this is what you want, right? Thunes is utilizing Ripple payment to enhance its SmartX treasury system. And that's a big client for Ripple, okay? They will be paying Ripple to use their technology, right? The Smart Treasury system is Thunes' liquidity and treasury management platform designed to streamline cross-border payments. Now, Thunes is pretty big. They have a direct global network which enables payments in real time across 130 countries and over 80 countries in the world, right? 130 countries and over 80 currencies in the world. and they basically have a direct network that has access to 7 billion mobile wallets. My God, that's huge. I don't know whether that's right or not, but that's a lot because there's only 8 billion people in the world, right? Wallets are, okay, so it's 7 billion mobile wallets and bank accounts worldwide. I don't know whether that 7 billion is right because we know half of Africa is unbanked, right? But still, it's a very large figure, along with 15 billion cards through 320 payment methods, including GCash, M-Pesa, Artel, MTN, Orange, JazzCash, EasyPay, ISA, Alipay, and WeChat Pay. So that is a big client for Ripple. And, the fact that this crowd will be using their platform is great. Now, there's a lot of stuff out about Swift commenting on Ripple. Clearly, Mr. Tom Czajak, who's the CEO officer of Swift, the Chief Innovation Officer, has said that the banks won't trust Ripple and XRP. Some disagree with that. I'm of the view that the banks will only use Ripple and XRP if they get a credit rating, right? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. A lot of the banks are trying to do their own technology. Some are using the distributed ledger technology, but their own technology, right? So we've got to take this comment with a grain of salt because Swift are in direct competition with XRP and Ripple, okay? And I think this guy is probably calling his own book, to be perfectly honest with you. He delivered a critique and basically said surviving lawsuits isn't a case of being resilient at all. We don't know what's happening with the SEC and Ripple's lawsuit. We just have to wait. My understanding is it's still going on and it hasn't yet finished. And I don't know why the SEC is being so tardy about it. There's also talk that XRP exchange traded funds will be launched in the next month or so, and that should give a push up to XRP's price, okay? Every time we see that, we see a push up in XRP's price with exchange traded funds. We also saw a very large transfer to an unknown wallet, from an unknown wallet to Coinbase of 35 million XRP, and that was on the 3rd this morning. And that could be a part of what came out of their escrow, okay? They did sell 300 million units of XRP, and maybe that's a part of that. So it's transferred from an unknown wallet to Coinbase. And the reason why that's important is because it's going on the exchange, and this particular whale could be looking to sell some XRP, which is going to make the coin a bit heavy, in the short term, okay? So what else we got here? Ripple, again, as I said, unlocked $1 billion, and obviously anything they don't sell, they actually take back to escrow, as I mentioned before. Also, we're looking at Chainlink. There's a story out there that Cardano could be integrating Chainlink to boost their own DeFi ecosystem. We're seeing Chainlink put on new clients all the time, okay? Also, we're seeing that even the Trump, World Liberty Financial Group is also using Chainlink, okay, for interoperability and in-cross-chain transfers. And it's a great story for Chainlink, right? Chainlink is a pricing oracle. It has an incredible interoperability service. And the fact that the Trumps are using Chainlink gives it more credibility. Another story that came out is Chainlink has very, very low supply on the exchange, which could push the price of Chainlink to $40, right? We've seen some large whales buy Chainlink just in the last couple of days, and many people are targeting $40 on Chainlink as a minimum, and I'm targeting $55 in the bigger picture, okay? It's still extremely cheap for what it is. We're seeing exchanges globally in the world go to different countries and expand. KuCoin teams up with Vietnam to power blockchain growth. They're looking to get more into Vietnam's blockchain and digital currency and exchange. Vietnam, interesting enough, is one of the Asian countries that has the most amount of cryptocurrency traders and users in the world, okay? In America, for example, there's 5% of the population that buy cryptocurrency. In Vietnam, it's 8%. And that's understandable because it has a very, very weak fiat currency. Coinbase and OKEx are targeting Australia for the $2.8 trillion pension pool. We have a very large retirement savings, and many retirees and the generation X and Generation Z are looking to buy cryptocurrency and digital assets, okay? So, excuse me, let me have a glass of water. So basically, Australia has a compulsory self-managed super fund, and we have one of the largest retirement savings systems in the world. And it doesn't surprise me that Coinbase and OKX are looking to expand into Australia. It's all about getting new clients on board and getting them invested in cryptocurrency. Okay, we've also seen the recent shift with President Donald Trump issuing an executive order allowing crypto to be bought in 401k plans. So Australia, it looks like it's going to go the same way as well, which wouldn't surprise me because we have a very sophisticated financial markets arena. Also, Binance is expanding into Mexico. Mexico does have a lot of players and a high percentage of users in cryptocurrency as well. So they plan to make over $1 billion or $53 million in expanding Binance, obviously, in Mexico, which is a great story for those guys as well, which means more clients. Mexico is a fairly large country, and they're adding to their client base. Nasdaq-listed BNC expands Binance Treasury and targets 1% of the token supply. This is why I'm so bullish, people, on Binance. It is a great story, and I think Binance at these levels, $850 odd, is too cheap, okay? Binance, in my mind, should be $4,500 per unit, right? BNB Network has established itself as the biggest corporate Binance treasury in the world. The company stated that it's purchased nearly 40,000 BNB, close to 33 million. They're expanding their holdings, and they already own, nearly now 388,000 odd tokens. And don't forget, Binance has only got 140 million on issue, and they burn coin every day. It is a no-brainer. Now, Tron is selected by the US Commerce Department for GDP data publications as network adoption surges after a 60% fee reduction. Tron should not be at 34 cents, people. It's too cheap, right? It's accelerating decentralization. It's reducing fees. It's getting faster as a network. It compresses anything from 5,000 to 20,000 transactions per second. And the federal agency has published official GDP data to public blockchain. And now they're using Tron. Not only are they using Tron, they're also using Avalanche, and they're using Link, which is a great story for those cryptos as well. I think Tron, again, as I said, is too cheap at 34 cents, right? Also, this gives the seal of approval for Tron, and essentially gives it much more credibility. And at 34 cents, as I said, it is cheap, right? Ethereum Foundation sells 10,000 Ethereum to fund their research and development, grants and donations, and for their ecosystem. They have been selling Ethereum in the past, so they need to keep an eye on that. A whale in the last 24 hours bought 260,000 Ethereum. People are starting to get long Ethereum. Clearly, the risk is if the price goes down. Hashgraph Group launches Transaction Act to bring crypto-free transactions. The Hash Group, a Swiss-based Web3 firm helping to advance adoption of Hedera, has launched a new solution that allows enterprises to build on Hedera without having to hold the native token or have a crypto wallet. That's very interesting, actually. So it means that you don't actually have to go into the native token, or you don't have to do any staking of Hedera or Hashgraph Hedera on their network. But it still means that this crowd, Hashgraph Group, are investing in Hedera. Okay, this group says they're going to fully manage with the Hash Group says the fully managed solution Transaction Act will drive enterprise adoption on Hedera. Businesses and governments can build on Hedera without touching crypto or wallets. And that's a good story for Hedera, that's for sure. With the Transaction Act, we are removing one of the major barriers to enterprise adoption, the complexity and compliance risk of holding crypto and managing digital wallets, said Sivan Dees, co-founder and chief executive officer of the Hashgraph Group. Very good story for those guys as well. we do invest in Hedera. We don't have a lot of it, but we have bought some. By providing an enterprise-grade transaction gateway to interact and transact on the Hedera network, we are enabling financial institutions, e-commerce platforms, technology firms, and other organizations to process digital transactions through our easy-to-use platform while we take care of all the technical and compliant challenges in the background. Sounds great. Sounds like a very good strategy. Absolutely. Now, another interesting story today is Crypto.com and Underdog launch first regulated sports prediction market. Now, they're in direct competition with Poly Market, that are a prediction market and a sports betting market as well. And Eric Trump, Mr. Sun's son, is also one of the advisors to Polymarket. So I think this is interesting what Crypto.com is doing. Don't forget the Trumps invest in Crypto.com as well, Crow. And we've seen that with $1 billion investment in Crow. Oh, that's better. So, they're partnering with Underdog Partner, and it's a new offering accessible through Underdog and will be regulated by the CFTC. And basically, Polymarket is the biggest name in prediction marketing, okay, in prediction betting, right? So essentially, they're going to be in direct competition with those guys. Crypto.com, the partnership will make Crypto.com CDNA sports event contract available on Underdog's platform. I've never heard of Underdog. I don't know how big they are, but that's certainly a good initiative by Crypto.com. They'll use their technology, and again, they'll be in direct competition with Polymarket, because Polymarket's stand alone at the moment. There's no one else that really does what Polymarket does. Now, another corporate treasury has added 110 million of Tron. Now they hold up to 220 million of Tron, and this investment was made by Brave Morning. And that again gives more credibility to Tron. More corporate treasuries are now starting to buy Tron. Mr. Sun, Justin Sun, will be on their board as an advisor, and they intend to actually raise more money to buy more of Tron. And why wouldn't you when Tron is so cheap? It makes sense, right? Tron is very, very cheap at the moment. And, you're going to see more corporate treasuries get out of cash and buy Tron. We also see Galaxy Digital Stock goes on-chain with Solana tokenization. Galaxy becomes the first NASDAQ-listed company to tokenize its shares on Solana, highlighting how equity markets are starting to move on-chain. And that's another big initiative, right? Solana's had some great news lately. There's some forecasts out there that Solana could easily get to 250 or $300. It is a pretty good story. I've got to tell you that they're now doing incredibly fast speed tokenization, but very, very fast speed in terms of transactions per second. They're one of the quickest, fastest, secure blockchain platforms out there. And their transaction speed is, low latency, very, very quick and very, very cheap. We are seeing other groups get into tokenization. We see it with Binance Chain and Tron and Avalanche and a few others as well that we hold. So it is a good story. Many of the big names include tokenized Netflix, Meta platforms, and NVIDIA, right? Which you can trade on Kraken and Bybit. So we're seeing other exchanges do it. And Solana-based DEXs as well, decentralized exchanges. So that is a terrific story. I've got to tell you that. Also, Avalanche put on Twitter Blockchain Lab, which will build their prototype for vehicle finance and mobility on Avalanche. So it's all about clients, people. The network doesn't make money by not putting on clients, okay? They've got to have clients to make money. That's how the network gets paid. That's how it gets paid fees. The more people that utilize the coin and use the network, they have to pay for the network, right? For blockchain and blockchain efficiency and security, right? And if they don't make money, the network is dead in the water. It's as simple as that. And that's why I don't like ADA so much, because I've never seen it put on any clients, okay? And the coins we're invested in, have a lot of clients, a lot of great fundamentals. And, technically, in terms of their platform, are very speedy cryptocurrencies, very quick in terms of payments, in terms of interoperability, and again, low latency, which is to do with the speed of a cryptocurrency technology, as well as earning fees, and have adoption by clients that are investing and actively trading that coin. So that's all I've got to mention today. I hope you're all well. Look after yourself, and I'll talk to you very soon. And thank you very much for listening.